Hey guys, today we're learning how to create materials and assignments. This is our lesson 2. So the first thing we're going to do is you're going to go to your Google Classroom and you're going to hit the classwork tab, because remember the stream tab is just for student or for teacher announcements. So you're going to hit your classwork tab and you're going to hit this create button. And the first thing you're going to do is see all of these different options that you can create. So creating an assignment is really good because it will assign a point value to it. If you want students to have a rubric, you can attach that so they can see why they got that point value. Create a Kami assignment is really good to have a PDF, and you send it to a Kami assignment. Students can edit that PDF, and then on Kami, they'll have the option to send it back to Google Classroom, so that way you can grade it. A quiz assignment is using Google Forms, which you can do Google Forms in 2 different ways. You can have a Google Forms survey or a Google Forms quiz. The quiz automatically grades it for you. You tell the form how many points each question is worth. Question is good for discussion. You post a question and you can either have it multiple choice or short answer. So it's really good for discussion with students. Material is if you want your contact information or your textbook or anything you don't want to assign a grade to, you can have that on there, and that way students can see the material and go back and access it at any time. This reuse post right here is where you can take an assignment from one class and you can assign it to another class that you have. So we're going to start out with create an assignment. And create an assignment, you want to always give it a title. So we're going to call it assignment number 1. And you might want to put, like for math, we always put the standard, for example, or whatever you want to name your assignment, but it has to be as organized as possible. So when students log in, if we do go home, that way they know, okay, well, I'm supposed to do assignment number 1 or assignment number 20. That way they know exactly what they're doing. Always give students the best instructions that you can. Be specific as possible. You don't ever want to leave anything to chance or assume that students will know and that they'll figure it out, because sometimes little Sally or little Johnny won't figure it out. So it's always good to do like step 1, tell them what you want them to do. Step 2, what should they do next? Over here you have your classes. You can assign it to all the classes that you want this assignment to go to. Then you have your student options. I only have 1 student enrolled in this class. If I didn't want a certain student to get it, I can uncheck their name. The points, how much you want the assignment worth, or you can click ungraded, so it's an ungraded assignment. You can go back and edit that and add the grade. I'm going to erase that and put, again, worth 100 points. Due date is really important because a lot of parents struggled with knowing what their kids had due. So you always want to say, okay, well, this is going to be due at this day and by this time. So that way parents can also look on Google Classroom and go, hey, that has a due date. This is great too, because when students log into Google Classroom, they'll see, oh, I have an assignment, it's due on this day, and that will be on the left side of their screen in the to-do tab. You always want to pick a topic. So I'm going to put this under lessons. Right here, you have an option to create a rubric, reuse a rubric that you've already created, or import a rubric that you created on Sheets. So if you hit create rubric, this will let you make your own rubric. It has this add. You can go through and add as many sections you want to the rubric. Then, of course, always hit save. I'm going to discard that rubric. Then you have this add button. If you want to add something from your Google Drive, something you already have saved, you just go to add from Google Drive. I'm just going to say, okay, well, here's the student textbook. Right here it says students can view file. So if I just want them to be able to view it, I leave it. If I want every student in the entire class to edit the same document, you would go to students can edit file. If I want every student in the entire class to have their own document, it would be like passing out a piece of paper to every student in the class. You're going to say make a copy for each student. So after you do that, you would go over here. You can assign the assignment right now. You can schedule it to assign it at a later time, or if you're not done working and you want to add to your assignment, you hit Save as Draft. If you hit Save as Draft, your students will not see it yet. You have to assign it, or when it's scheduled, when it does assign, that's the only time they will be able to see it. So if we go back over here to the add, hit add, say I have a really cool link I want my students to watch. So I would say, I want my kids to do Soft 7. So I would go to Soft 7, highlight Soft 7. I can right click, copy, or you can hit Control C for copy. Go back to your link and you can right click, paste, or you can hit Control V, see it listed there, to paste the link. Add link, and there's Soft 7. Say you want students to have a file you have saved on your computer. So you would go to Add File. These are your Google Drive files. If it's saved on your computer, you're going to go to Upload, Browse, find the file you have saved on your computer, and then hit Open. It's going to upload that file. And again, if I just want the students to view it, I leave it as Students View. If I hit Students Can Edit, they will all be editing this one document, kind of like everybody in the class working on one piece of paper. I'm going to make a copy for each student so everybody has their own. Then you can go to Edit or to Add. YouTube. Say you have a great YouTube video you want students to watch. You go to YouTube and you find it. You can do it this way and say, let's say I want to do area and circumference of a circle. It's a great video I want them to watch. So you would again highlight the link, right click, copy, or Control C, and then you're going to Control V or paste. You can also search YouTube right here, and it will bring up the same thing. So there's the one I want, hit add, and it is right here for students to be able to view. So once I have that assignment done, you always want to assign it or schedule it to assign. And right here under lessons, it showed up, PAN11 assignment. Let's say I don't want that there, I want it at the very bottom. I can drag that anywhere I want. So the next thing that we're going to go over is how to create a Kami assignment. Oh, nope, I'm jumping ahead of myself. I'm looking on the slides. I'm going to go to how to create a Google Doc. So I'm going to call this assignment number 2. I'm going to give detailed instructions, leave nothing to the kids' imagination because they will say they didn't understand the assignment. Again, which classes I want to assign to, which students I want to assign to, how many points I want it worth, a due date. A time is optional. If you don't want to put a time on there, you don't have to. You can leave it blank. A topic, I want this under lessons. I can add that rubric. Right here, this check for plagiarism. Each Google Classroom gets 3 check for plagiarisms a year. So this is great if the students are writing a paper, you can click this, but you can only do it 3 times a year. Google will take their document that they typed and they will run it through a plagiarism check. And if it has plagiarism, then they email you or they post it on the student's assignment, plagiarism detected. So we went through all these ads. Now we're going to go to create. I'm going to go to create doc. It's automatically going to open a Google Doc for me. You want to title this so that way you can find it in your drive. So it might be assignment number 1. And anything you type on here, the students will be able to see. But after you've typed everything you want on your Google Doc assignment, you can just X out and it automatically saves there. So if you want the students just to be able to view the document, you leave it here. If you want everybody in the class to edit the same document, you go here to Students Can Edit File, If you want everybody in the class to have their own document, you go to make a copy for each student. Again, you have options on when to assign it. If you're not done, save it as a draft. Discard draft deletes the whole thing. I'm going to go ahead and go to assign. And it's assigning. And again, it's right here, assignment number 2. So now we're going to go back to the Create tab again. We're going to go to Assignment again. We're going to call this assignment number 3. Detailed instructions. You have all of your options over here. I'm going to put this in lessons, a due date. Then you're going to go to your Create, and this time you want slides. So a Google Doc is comparable to like Microsoft Word. It's going to give you a Word doc. A Google Slide is like a PowerPoint presentation. So if you want to make a PowerPoint presentation, or if you would like your students to, this is a great resource. So on Google Slide, you can record your screen just like I'm recording my screen right now, and your students will be able to see the slides. Once you record your screen and you go through your slides, it will automatically, once you're recording, the video will automatically change your slides for you as you're going, which we're going to go over that here in just a little bit. But if you want your students to create a Google slide, they can do that here. They have all these options. They can insert pictures. They can change their text. This is where I make my Bitmoji things for my Google Classroom banners. So Google Slide, again, is just like a glorified PowerPoint. Say you're using this in your class as a teaching tool and you've made your own Google Slide. You go over here to present, this little arrow right here. If you hit presenter view, it's going to show your students this question answer. You hit start new, and they can go to this link and they can ask you questions as you're teaching. Your students cannot see this. They can see each other's questions, but they cannot see your whole screen. You have your speaker notes here, so that way you can go over your notes as you're going through your slides. I don't know why it times it, but it does. I always just hit pause. So that was Google Slides. When I X off of it, it's automatically here. I should have named it. I can go back to it and I can name it. I can name it whatever I feel like I need to name it, and it will automatically save that for you, and it will eventually update. Assignment. I don't know why it's not updating, but it will update it, and students, instead of seeing untitled presentation, they should see the name. So I'm assigning it, and we're going to go on to the next one. It's right here, assignment number 3. Again, we go to create assignment, assignment number 4, detailed instructions. You have all of your options over here. I'm going to hit it in lessons. I'm going to hit create, and this time I'm going to Sheets. Google Sheets is like Microsoft Excel. It's going to pop up. I'm going to name it. And anything you put on here, your students will be able to see. If you X off, I don't know why it's not naming them, because when I go back to them, it's naming. So it's just being a little bit laggy. Right here, going to make a copy for each student unless you want everybody in the entire class working on the same document, or if you just want something for them to be able to look at. Again, students can view file. You have your assign, your time and date, your schedule, and you hit assign. So I just clicked on, a while ago it wasn't naming it, now it's Google's uploaded the name, now it's assignment, this one, assignment number 4. I don't know why when we were clicking on the assignment it wasn't updating the name of it. If you want to check it, you can go to edit your assignment. It updated the name instead of saying untitled. Okay, the next one we're going to do is create assignment. Assignment number 5, detailed instructions, create. You have drawings. I'm going to be honest, I've not used drawings, but I know that teachers have used it to collaborate. So say you want 3 students in a group, you assign this assignment, this Google Drawing, to those 3 students, and they can all edit it at the same time. They can put text boxes and they can see what each other's doing. We're going to call it assignment number 5. So I've not played a lot with Google Drawings, but I do know that it's a great collaboration tool. Again, it didn't update it, but when I saved it, it did update the title here. So say you want to assign this to groups of students so they can collaborate together. You would click the 3 kids or 4 kids you want in that group, and you would hit assign. So, and I forgot to put a topic here, so I can always go back. I can edit it. I can say, well, I want this under lessons, and save. So if I go down here to my lessons, here's all of my lessons so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The last one, we go to create assignment 6, detailed instructions. You have all of your options over on the right. Go to create forms. So Google Forms, I think, is completely awesome, and we use it for our quizzes here in math at Peterball. So we call this quiz 1. Right now on Google Forms, when it opens up, it's not a quiz yet. Right now, it is just a survey. To make it a quiz, you have to go over here to the settings. You have to hit quizzes, make it a quiz. Then read through your options. This right here on locked mode, once they open the quiz, they cannot open any other tab while the quiz is going. So if you turn it on locked mode, they're stuck on this quiz until they hit submit. Presentation, progress bar is showing them how many questions they have left until they're done with the quiz. So you can turn that off or on. If you want the quiz questions in different order, you can turn that off or on. Right here, you want to hit collect email responses, so that way it will email you saying, okay, well, this student made this grade on your quiz. If you don't do that, then it doesn't collect the email responses. You can say, well, you only want them to take it one time. Do you want them to edit after they submit it or not? Do you want them to be able to see the summary of responses? So this is, the students will be able to edit it and see the summary. I always leave those off. Hit save. So now I've made it a quiz and not just a survey. So then you have to go to answer key and you say, okay, well, this question is going to be worth 20 points. And option 1 is my only option here, so that's my correct answer. To add another option, say you want multiple choice, so you want A, B, C, D. Let's call this A, call this B, call this C, add an option, call this D. Your question is, what is the best drink? So answer key, A was the best drink, or whatever you put in your answer key. It's showing you this green check mark saying, okay, this is what you said the correct answer is. Right here is students are required to do this question. To add another question, you just hit your plus key, and we're going to go dive deeper into this later in the school year. I just kind of wanted to show you so that way you can start using this. Once you exit out, it's automatically there for the students. You hit your due date, you hit your topic, and you hit assign or schedule it when you want it assigned. So we've went through all of the assignment options. Now we're going to go through Kami. Kami is great if you have a PDF you want students to edit and then submit back to Google Classroom. So when I open up Kami, I've already installed Kami on this computer, so when you open it up, it will ask you to log in with your school email, and it will ask you for access to your Google Drive. You hit yes. So I'm going to title this assignment number 6. Again, detailed instructions. How many points you want it worth. You can also leave it as ungraded. Your due date, if you want it scheduled. The topic. Then on Kami, you can pick a PDF from your Google Drive, which is what I'm going to do. My Drive, I'm going to say our mock test. You want to make a copy for each student, otherwise they're all going to be working on the same document. Right here, this send Kami instructions to student. If you click this, it's going to tell them how to use Kami. If you don't click it, it's not going to give them instructions on how to use Kami. Say you have a PDF saved on your computer, you just hit the paperclip, your computer files pop up, and you click what you want, your PDF. So you're going to hit assign. Takes it a second to assign it. Notice at the top you can assign it to different students in different classes. So this pops up and it wants to know, do you want to open up your Kami assignment? If you don't, you hit X. If you do, you open it. And this looks similar to what the students will see. So you're going to hit open with Kami at the top. Every student will have Kami on their Chromebooks. So they can add a text box, they can draw on this document, they can erase. There's lots of different options that they can do. We're going to go into Kami later on this year to teach you more about it. I just wanted to show you so that way you could kind of see what I'm talking about. If I do a text box, they can type. This drawing tool, they can draw. Markup lets you highlight. They can make comments on there. And then on the student side, it will say submit work to Google Classroom over on the right. So once they're done with their assignment, they hit that submit button and it sends it automatically back to Google Classroom for you to grade. So, and it will show up here in your grade. Okay, the next one we're going to do is create question. Because quiz assignment we did right here in your assignment. This is just another way to get to a quiz instead of going through the assignment tab. It's the exact same thing we just did a while ago. It says blank quiz. You can click on it and create your quiz. So the next one is question. When you have a question, you're just asking the students for discussion. So, how are you today? Instructions. Step 1, step 2. You want them to reply in a short answer or multiple choice. Again, you have, do you want it to go to every student, every class? How many points is this question worth? When do you want them to answer it? The topic you want it to go under. Can students reply to each other? Can students edit their answers? So then you hit, you want to schedule it, save it as a draft, or ask. And it's asking the students, hey, how are you today? So right now it's assigned to one student. I can view the question and my students' responses will be next to their names. The students, what's really important on the question is it'll say post to the classroom, or it will say send a private comment. If the students post it to the classroom, every student can see their answer to how are you today or whatever question you ask. If not, on the right it will say private comment, and that's when you want to do if you don't want everybody to see a reply. So I think I can show you that real quick. I'm going to pause the video and log in as a student. Okay, I'm now logged in as a student. So if I'm a student, I'm going to go to my classwork tab. Gonna go to my lessons. How are you today? View question. So right here, your answer. If I type it, if she says great, everybody in the class can see that. If she answers right here, I am doing fine, then only the teacher can see that. If she answers here, it's just like answering here, great. Thanks. So I'm going to submit it all 3 ways so that way you can see. So if we go back to the teacher side, and we go to back to the classwork, shows me one student has replied, great, thanks. Oops. View question. So you can see great here, I'm doing fine. This is a private comment. And then great, thanks was posted here on the comments. Great, thanks. So if you want students to answer you privately, they have to answer in that private comment. Okay, the next one is create material. This is what we use for our textbook or our contact information. We describe full textbook. You can add anything from your drive, link it from anything online, a file you have saved on your computer, a YouTube video. So right here, we always put our textbook on Google Classroom and it's there all year long. So here's the 7th grade math textbook, insert it, topic, whatever you want the material under. Again, schedule it, hit post. So there's the textbook. Usually we have a materials tab that, like right here, I should have probably put that under class materials. So that way those are there all year long. And then the last thing is reusing your post. If you want to reuse your post, you say, okay, I want to reuse this. That's my textbook. And which classes do I want to reuse it in? You can click and you can hit post and it will put this same material or same assignment in your other classes. Okay, that is all for materials and assignments on Google Classroom. I hope I didn't go too fast.